Tony, what everybody is saying about me is that I knew that you were a full-on pedophile for a year. Is that true? Tell them. Tell them, Tony.
Yeah.
When did you start talking to me? Was it a year ago or was it 4 months ago?
It was a year.
That's not true. You started talking to me this summer on Facebook when you sent me a friend request.
Oh, that's right. Well, I meant on YouTube. I've been talking. I mean, in general, I've been talking for you in general for a year.
You would say hi to me. I would say hi to you.
Yeah, I know, Mary Jane.
But when did you start actual contact with me? When you came to me.
This summer.
And you told me a lot of personal
things. Yeah, and I thought I could trust you.
Before you revealed to me what was actually eating you up inside.
And I thought I could trust you.
Who told you that I was a shoulder to cry on in the Juggalo world, but I am. And a lot of victims have come to me about traumatic things that have happened to them, and I've counseled them. And during the first call, after you told me about things that you thought were traumatic that happened to you in high school, you told me that you never had a girlfriend, that finally a pretty girl your age talked to you, and then you found out she only did it to make her boyfriend jealous. And that was when you're able-bodied and you're a handsome guy. And I listened. You told me that you didn't want to talk to psychiatrists, that you couldn't trust them. You told me that you had a demon that was waiting for the end of the world to use your physical form to manifest into this world. And I believe in demons. I let you talk.
Oh, and by the way, Mary Jane,
what was bothering you was a computer that you owned. And when I asked you what was on it, you didn't give me the details that you gave Bloated Kiki today. You just told me that it was underage girls. And at that point, the only bad things that I had heard about you was like a tape that KJ Riddle or like Violent George dropped of your voice saying that you were a pedophile.
But that wasn't me.
And that you take pictures of girls at the mall. When I asked you if that was a real tape, you said no, it was fabricated, and I believed you.
Yeah, it was fabricated.
And then you told me that this other guy, after you had told me what happened to you, and that when you were 19, you had that surgery and you had a stroke, okay? That this guy started sharing with you bad things, but you wouldn't tell me what they were. For all I knew, yeah, it was girls in gym shorts playing soccer. I don't fucking know. I've played sports my whole life, and I've had coaches and teachers say inappropriate things to me. There was never anything I could do about it. And I believe that you weren't mentally all there before your accident, and that possibly you were further damaged by your stroke, and that you were immature. And yes, retards are like children mentally. They don't fucking understand everything that fully intelligent adults do. And you weren't ready to tell me everything. And I said, Tony, if you want help, I will help you. I believed you that you hadn't looked at anything like that in a decade, because that's what you told me.
And I haven't.
And I believed, I wanted to hope, give you the benefit of a doubt that you had been victimized by some fucking weirdo that was preying on you, because that's what predators do. They find a kid who's from a broken home or mentally retarded, and they teach them disgusting things because they're easy to prey on. And I didn't want to judge you too quickly. And I knew from the little bit I had seen you in my friends' chats and live streams that it didn't seem like you had a lot of friends in real life. And I didn't want to fucking
I
throw a rock
don't.
at your face
I
and
don't.
bash
Not
you
in
the
this
fuck
town.
in before I knew what was actually going on. And you want to tell me, is that right?
Yes.
And then the second call, I was nice to you. Hey, this is where I live. Look at my yard, yada, yada. It's a beautiful day. I'm getting crunk as fuck. Be careful. I see these people trying to get you to drink. You shouldn't drink with your medication. Now, the computer, did you get rid of it? And you didn't want to talk about it. Is that true?
Yes.
And I had no proof. I don't record conversations with people. I don't even know how to do that. Maybe I should start doing that for my own benefit. The third call, I pressed you. Did you get rid of the fucking computer? And you got a little nasty with me. I gotta go. I gotta go. And I would still see you in chats and say hi to you because I still wasn't sure if you were a predator or not. I knew
I'm not, Mary.
that
I'm
everyone in
not.
the community had forgiven you for taking a picture of a girl's butt at the mall. I never seen the picture.
And I'm not a predator.
And I
Mary
did tell you
Jane.
the first call, look, I think what's going on here is this dude that was showing you stuff is sick as fuck. And it's bad. And you need to get rid of it and never look at it again, didn't I? And it wasn't to protect a pedophile. It was because I thought you were a fucking victim of sexual deviance. But as I watched you come into live streams, I started to realize.
Broadcast from Jefferson. Hey, Tara, it's time to take your mood stabilizers.
I take
again.
mood stabilizers because I'm fucking violent. All right, everyone. I've gone to the loony bin 5 times in my life. And it's because I don't understand this fucking world and I want a murder pass. And I struggle with that. And juggalos might not want to hear it, but I do talk to cops. Quite often. I don't turn people in, but sometimes they just pull up and ask me how I'm doing. Tara, are you being good? Cops that don't even know me. And they'll ask me, there's a missing kid. Do you think you know anything? We heard that you know stuff that you don't know. I don't fucking know what I am. I don't know why Tony came to me to confide in me. And I struggled with it. And I only talked to you those 4 times. The last time was with Randy, right?
Yeah.
And it was just a normal call. You were live with me and you were like, I got some research to do. Then you hit me up. I thought that was fucking hilarious. And then all of a sudden you're like, show me and Randy your boobs. Did I do it?
No.
No. And I tried to counsel you. And I tried to ask Randy, why aren't you hanging out with the homies on your own? What's going on here? Why don't you have your own computer? I guess that offended him. He said that later in a show the other day.
Yeah, I
It
can't
wasn't
remember.
my intention to make him feel less than that he doesn't have a computer.
No.
Every time I saw you go live with Tony, it seemed like you weren't even letting him hang out with us. And it was more red flags for me. And on that last call, you told me, I'm going to church when I brought up the computer. And I said, I know lots of stuff about Jesus Christ. I can talk to you about it. And you declined, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then you tried to
you'll be
convince
glad
me
to know
that you were a demon. And you know what? I believe you.
Yeah,
I
and
believe
guess
that
what,
you're
Mary Jane?
afflicted. And you want to know why people go to jail, Tony? I've struggled with it. The one thing that helped me was the Metallica video for Frantic. Their fans go crazy over that. Why do we pay hundreds of dollars for a ticket to see you, and then you go play for scumbags in a jail? And if you watch that video, they show men, for whatever reason, they don't show females doing crimes. And the lesson in that video is, if you let Saint Anger get inside of you and push you and take over you, you'll end up in jail. And you know what happens to people in jail, Tony? It's not so fun for demons to play with your body anymore because they're trapped in the box with you. And they either stay in that box with you for whatever reason beyond our knowing, or they leave. And I wasn't sure until after you allowed Randy. I don't think he was playing with his Knott's dog. I think he was full on stroking his cock. And you didn't have the guts to tell me live on that call or to tell anybody. That's what I believe he was doing. And when I knew that you were letting him do that, I knew that you were a threat to other people. And I wanted to expose you, but I knew that I didn't have any proof. I knew that you could say that I was making it up. And I knew that I needed to get you to admit it yourself live. And that's what everyone in the community deserves. And on my birthday, it was a life-changing day for me, like lots of my birthdays. It weighed heavy on me. And I kept saying, kick Tony, kick Tony. Like I've been for weeks. Fucking get rid of him. I wanted you to say,
So
why?
what, should I just
Why
ban
should
you?
they kick me? And I would say, why do you think, motherfucker? I
Should
wanted a
I?
confrontation.
You know, why do you
Because
think?
you
Why do you
needed
think
to come
this is
clean.
called banning people list, Mary Jane?
Tony,
You were on that list.
Tony. I called you on the 9th, early in the morning of the 9th. Come on here, motherfucker, and tell the Bender boys about your other computer. Because all I knew at that point, the only thing that you had revealed to me is that you had a computer. Some creep had gone to jail for kiddie porn, and he had been sharing stuff with you. I didn't know what it was. It was only speculations.
I
And
don't
as
have
time went
another
by and I
computer.
watched you, I knew. You're not
All I
right.
have is my phone, Mary Jane. I
No,
don't
and
have a laptop.
I kept thinking, he's looking at this shit on his phone. That's why the homies got him to microwave his phone. Because deep down they know without knowing. He's doing bad things. And now I'm being painted
Yeah,
as an
Mary Jane,
enabler.
I'm on
I'm being
Pornhub.
painted as a pedophile assistant, which I'm not.
I'm on Pornhub, yes. I look
Listen,
at Pornhub, okay?
I've looked young my entire life for my age, okay? And after that first call, and after evaluating your mental state and that you were severely immature for your age mentally, I didn't know if you were looking at 18-year-olds that look 15. I didn't know what you were looking at because you wouldn't tell me.
Yes,
I never
I'm
saw the picture of
looking
the
at
girl
stuff
small.
like that. Yes, I am looking at girls that are like 18 and 19.
But
And
over time passed and I watched you, I started to understand. You knew, and you had lied to me. It's not 10 years ago. I knew you were still being gross. That's why I called you out. It wasn't because you called me a bitch. You called me a bitch, I believe, because I had unfriended you. I wasn't nice to you in the chats anymore. Whenever you would hit on me, I would be like, don't do that shit. Because that's not what I am. And I have a
you're
bad
not, and
reputation,
you
I
have every
know.
right,
Because I've
and you
showed
have
my
every
children
right
to
to be
people. And
that
you know
way.
why? Because I don't think tits are a fucking crime. And I don't just show them to everybody. Yeah, I show them when I'm inebriated and I think it's funny. Or to my Juggalo homies who I think maybe haven't seen boobs as nice as mine, which sounds fucking conceited. They're not a perfect 10, but they're okay. And I don't think there's anything wrong with adult men looking at adult women from the hips up. And I thought about it. Why did everyone forgive Tony for the mall shit? Why did they? I didn't know that it was true until you told me it was true. I believed that it had been a fabricated, edited tape or whatever. I didn't know about that a year ago. I don't watch every single fucking thing, and I don't track every single person that the homies talk to.
Well, if you're a violent person, I've got violent intentions myself too, but it's not like I don't act upon them. And for one thing, I don't trust I don't trust the authorities. I don't trust psychiatrists because in the past they fucked me over.
Tony, if I was the queen of this world, me and my people would have a wall. And people like you, I would just say no. You're not invited. And I would let nature
Then
have
so
you.
be it.
That's not the fucking way that this world works. They protect you. I watched it happen in my own town with a guy that did things that were a lot worse than you. We had him on tape. They took my statement. And you know what they told me? It's a victimless crime. He was touching himself on his own property, which he is disgusting and a crime, but he's retarded. Had somebody that I believed was 100% mentally sound, like Prison Mike, come to me and said, yo, when I was 19, this computer happened and I still have it, I would have fucking told everybody. But I took pity on you because I didn't know if you were a fucking victim or not. You're not a victim. You need help. The guy that sent you to where he sent you, he did that. You didn't tell me that whole thing, but he did that for a reason. Because you're dangerous. And you might not think that you are. But even the fact that people like you cause adults to be afraid to bring their children to the park, you're a threat on the pursuit of happiness. That's what the Juggalo world is all about. The Juggalos want a world without fear. They want a world where we don't have to question who everyone is and we can just live life to the fullest and enjoy it without any disgusting ickiness.
So what do you want to do with me?
Like that.
Do I have a bounty on my head now since I came out?
Listen, what Bombshell, I haven't watched Controller's tape. I watched some of Bombshell. I watched a little bit of Kiki. He said I've known for a year. I haven't. The bottom line is, based off of what I talked to a deputy about a couple of months ago, when I just happened to run into one, I mentioned it. They're like, it's all hearsay. Unless this dude turns himself in or sends somebody an illegal picture and that gets turned in, or he signs an actual statement, and even if he does, his public defender is going to pull the retard card, and all that's going to happen to him is he's going to get sent to a group home that is basically where you live now, but a prison. So that you can't talk to other people like Randy. So that you can't show the garbage to Randy, because
that's just it. I don't want to go to prison.
That you have been sharing stuff with Randy, and that's bad. I don't like that Randy sleeps with prostitutes. I don't like that everybody is like, yeah, that's awesome. I think you're lying and saying that he was just touching his nuts. I think the whole reason why you called me was like, look, I'm going to get my friend Mary Jane. She's a total fucking slut. She did this, and that.
I didn't say you were a slut.
No, but everybody paints me as that.
You're not, though. You're not a slut, Mary Jane.
And you thought that I would just what? Whip him out and he would yank off next to you and you would giggle about it? When you originally came to me in my DMs and friended me, I asked you why. You said it was because you needed help. This whole church thing, if you were really, in that last call, what I realized is if you really wanted to learn about Jesus Christ, you would just, one, either read the Bible or Google the Bible, learn about it, or if anybody who wanted to share anything about Jesus Christ with you, and I'm not saying all juggalos need to be gelling with Jesus, okay? But you didn't want it. You just wanted to keep saying, I go to church. Just like that motherfucker Gene Kench, who would walk past my house every day with literally a Bible in his right hand. And then do the disgusting shit that he did, thinking that our Lord will forgive him. Keep reading. It says he's coming back with 100,000 angels to pick 1 out of 1,000 people, and the rest of everyone gets put in piles to be burned. In the Quran, it says he comes back with a sword to fucking murder people. He's coming back to judge. If he is real, he sees you. He knows you. You're not one of his fucking homies. If you approached him, he would literally kick at you and say, go away from me. Read it again. They paint
That's
him as a
not
fucking
Jesus Christ.
Gentile
That's not
that kisses
Jesus
everyone on the
Christ.
face, and it's not true. He didn't fucking kiss anybody.
That's not
Except for
Jesus
Judas.
Christ. Jesus Christ
Somebody had to
would
spill the
heal
salt
me.
to get it
He
fucking
would tell
going.
me to get rid of the thoughts. He would say, be gone with these thoughts. He
No,
wouldn't
but you just
kill
want to
me.
keep on with the demon shit. Well, you want to front and say you go to jail. You want to say that you're a dragon, that you curse
Mary
people,
Jane,
that
guess
you kill
what?
fucking puppy dogs.
Guess what, Mary Jane? Guess what happened to me last Thursday? I went to a psychic. And yes, he did confirm that, yes, I have a dragon inside me. Because you know what? Because when I talked to him,
And this is exactly why you'll never go to jail.
and another thing, Mary Jane, you know what else he also said? He also said that my health is deteriorating.
Tony, you're at 14% body fat. A fucking ninth grader could tell you you're deteriorating. Don't you know that people are supposed to have at least 17 to 18% body fat?
Yeah.
You revealed yourself the other day on Big Will's show in your diaper. Why? Because you want us to know that you're dying. And you want us to help you die. Everybody wants that comfortable death with their loved ones around them. And some people just don't get it. And if you want to know what's coming for you, Tony, I suggest you read the Book of Death.
Yeah, it's hell.
No. You go through the 5 stages of elements. And the people like you cry out. First, you'll go fucking numb. You won't be able to feel anything, but you'll still be able to hear the nurses and doctors around you, and they'll talk about you. And then you'll shit yourself. And then you'll go into the second stage, Earth, and you'll feel your body being sucked down into your fucking mattress. And you won't be able to hear anyone or see anyone. And you'll go through fire. And you'll see every horrible thing that you did, and your arms will probably spike up, and the people in the physical world will see you cry out about the wicked things that you've done. This is what our nurses and doctors bear that they don't tell anyone about. And then you'll go through water, and you'll drown, and you'll see your life flash before your eyes. And then you'll go through space. And you'll go to some place where you're judged, and you'll go to your next life. And you wanted to be a dickhead and mention karma to me, which is actually pronounced karma, like Kermit the Frog. And I'm so fucking sick and tired of people saying namaste, namaste to each other. If somebody says namaste to you, the actual thing you're supposed to say back is namaskaram. But people don't want to listen past a white fucking yuppie in spandex, or learn Sanskrit, or fucking do research on Lord Shiva Adinath. They just love to throw the word karma around like they fucking understand it. Some of us choose to be here on the wheel when we could leave it. You're not leaving, Tony. And you're probably not even going to get a human body in the next time, because you won't even fucking repent out loud like it says in the Bible. There's a story about Jesus Christ next to a fig tree. I suggest you Google that instead of pictures of girls in fucking spandex, and try to fucking wrap your head around it if you actually give a fuck about where you're going. Because I don't know how many days you've got, but look how thin you are. You think they're going to put you in jail? They're not. They're going to put you in some type of assisted living with other fucking people who have actually raped people. Not people like Randy, actual monsters. And you know what? If you think your staff doesn't give a fuck about you now, and they think your questions for Best Buy are dumb, wait till you meet the staff where you live, where you're not allowed to have a cell phone or a computer, and all you're allowed to have is 3 square meals a day. And eventually you can't even fucking bathe yourself. And if you even act up or try to spit on them or get a fucking attitude, they hurt you. Because they're sick and tired of seeing the ugly underbelly of the maggots of the pig of life. And you wanted me to bear it. And you came to me as a victim, and it was a lie. And I'm not going to be painted as somebody who helps fucking pedophiles, Tony. And you're not going to tell me where I'm going because of karma, because I come right back here every single fucking time. You're not a dragon. You're not a demon. You're a human being who doesn't know better because you don't seek out the answers. Because you're not taking life seriously and you don't understand how precious of a miracle it is. I don't know why you got crippled, but the more I think about it, people say God works in mysterious ways. Maybe he did that to you because if he didn't in this timeline, you would have been an actual monster. I don't know why you came to me or why I was part of this coming to light, but I'm glad that you finally admitted. I thought you'd admit it to like Siznek and my homies after I called you out. I was sure after you saw my face and I asked you to say what you'd say that and say more when the homies pressed for questions. And I'm not even a bender boy. Sure, some of them have done fucked up things, but I know deep down they're righteous. I'm glad that Bloated Kike and Prison Mike and Courtney pressed you today. And you answered all the questions for them that you wouldn't answer for me. I'm not going to be dragged down with you. You can say sorry all you want. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to end up in the same place. And you're like, you think that you can block people. Why? Why do you want to block Blake? All he ever was nice to you. And now he's a dickhead because he asks pressing questions, but you'll answer Bloated Kiki. I'm not even sure right now if you understand why society can't accept people like you anymore. Because the world is changing. We want to have a good time. We don't want to have to worry about who's looking at us and why. We don't want to worry that our fucking gym teachers and soccer coaches and basketball coaches and math teachers are fucking creeps that are looking at our butts. That's not what this world is about. It's not about sex and butts. It's about evolving. It's about helping the flora and fauna evolve and evolving with it into incredible, magical, mystical beings that we are. Being a human is a fucking gift. You're wasting it. I think you've been looking at shit, like you said today to them. I called you out last night. I think as soon as you had a phone, you've been taking pictures. Probably the surgeon saw it and was like, fuck this motherfucker.
No. I haven't been taking any pictures.
You said to them since high school, and then you said to them since 2007 or whatever.
Yeah,
Basically,
that
ever
was
since
on
you had
my
a
hard
PC.
drive. It's not on my phone.
I didn't know that. All I knew was that you were looking at stuff that you shouldn't have and you believed they were underage. And I wasn't even sure if you knew what a fucking underage girl looked like.
You can't tell nowadays, can ya?
Tony, some people think I'm fucking 18. The first time I went to the mental hospital after I was an adult, they didn't believe anything I said because I didn't have ID on me. And they wrote me down as an 18-year-old when I was 32 fucking years old. And I wanted to give you the benefit of a doubt that you just didn't mature properly because of whatever mental condition you were in and then what happened to you. But I'm 100% sure you know right from wrong. And it's not fair to the people in the world that when we befriend people, they hide who they are from us. Say things like, I go to church.
Yeah, because I have trust issues. And yes, I am literally going to church. I literally am.
What did they teach you? Tell me.
Well, Wednesday night we're on the Apostle of Joy, part 2, and we're in the that one chapter of the Bible that's not Peter but the other one, the Philistine. I know it's not Peter, but it's Pisseian or something like that.
I think you're trying
My
to say Philistines.
Thank you. We're in that chapter.
Did they tell you about Peter? Did they read to you the book of John yet? Go ahead and skip forward to chapter 21. You'll find Peter butt naked after our Lord and Savior died, supposedly, butt naked in a fishing boat with the younger homies when he knows that Jesus wasn't down with that shit. Supposedly teaching them how to fish with his fucking huge cock hanging out. And then he looks over at the beach and he sees, oh, that's Master. And it strikes him in such a way. Master is barbecuing fish on the fucking beach, and I guarantee it was tilapia. And Master calls out, throw your net on the other side, homies. And they do. And behold, a net full of fishes. Looks like Peter doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. That's funny. Peter gets all embarrassed and puts his shirt on all of a sudden and helps them drag the fishes to the beach. And there's 2 unnamed apostles in that chapter. I believe it was Mary and John. And all Peter wanted to ask Lord was, who's the one that tarries? Tarry means who's the one that waits for you to return? And Jesus said to him 3 times, what's it to you? Why don't you just feed my lambs and sheep? That's what he promised that he would do. He promised that he would spread the words of Jesus Christ to all nations. And instead, he was being a fucking pedophile. Why do you want Peter? Why do you care why this one is on my shoulder and not you? Why don't you just feed my lambs and sheep? If you love me, feed my lambs and sheep, the Lord said 3 times. That was his last showing. That's the last record of anyone seeing Jesus Christ ever. And you want to know where Peter went? He went to the Latins of Latium, Rome, and created a tith and made some bullshit religion where only certain people are accepted. And they basically keep his body in a fucking closed coffin refrigerator and bow down to him. And people wonder, how could the book be written 200 years after Jesus Christ dies? Well, if you research all the apostles, dear John not his older cousin who had his fucking head cut off. The Apostle John supposedly died of old age on the island of Greece. You know what? I'm not buying it. I don't think that Jonathan died because the first translation of the Bible was in Greek. I think that he's been the one that tarries, and I think that he helped Da Vinci, like, yep, a little bit like this. Oh, red hair on that homie, and helped him create the Last Supper. And I like to believe that Jesus Christ is coming back and he's going to raise his homies up. And if he does, I hope that he shows Peter for the disgusting wolf in sheep's clothing that he is. And I hate to say it the way that the Bible says it, because in the clans around here, wolves are the shit. So it's a little weird to say it like that. The one who eats their own kind is basically what it translates to. And the people that you're talking to aren't going to tell you any of this shit. They're not going to tell you to read the Book of Apostles or the Book of Enoch. They're going to read you the faggoty fucking retard stories. They're not going to tell you about the fig tree or the 5 trees of paradise. They're not going to tell you anything. And that's where you all want to go. You want to listen to the dickhead collects the full reward. You know what it is? An audience of fucking faggots. Oh, I'll pray for you. Funny how it says in the Bible, don't pray in public. But they'll tell you, go ahead, tell me your prayer. I'll say it to them right now in front of all you guys. I'll send it right up. And then they misconstrue the Our Father that was taught at the river for people to do in private. And people wonder why their prayers don't fucking work. And you just want to go to this church so that you can say that you go to church, but you actually have no interest. And when you read the Bible, it's just like it says, you're fucking deaf and blind to it. Not even anybody can explain it to you. And the older I get, the more sad I fucking get. There's no help. Until a Messiah comes down here and puts down the fucking law, all we have is troopers and deputies, and they can't really do shit. Because half of you are fucking retards and the world has pity. You don't need to go to church to read a fucking book, do you, Tony? You just don't want to read it.
Oh, fuck.
You don't even have a copy in your house, do you?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, read chapter 21 of the book of John. See how you feel.
Hold on, I gotta unlock my door. Great timing. It's open. Sorry, Mary Jane. Randy's over. Be nice. Right?
Is he not nice, generally?
Oh, Randy's okay. I got Mary Jane. Randy said hi.
I have a new policy. I'm not going to be nice to anybody that I don't actually know.
What? Oh, I was cleaning. I was gonna
You
clean it.
told Drama Kiki and people that you were going to turn yourself in. Do you know what that means if you do that? Do you know where you're actually going physically? No computers, no cell phone. You don't get a TV in your room. You get a bed and a dresser and a bathroom, just like the loony bin, every day until the rest of your life. Because if you go to jail, you will get murdered, and the state will have to pay your family money. And they don't want to do that. It would be less money to keep you a ward of the state where they can actually keep an eye on you. Two things are going to happen. You're either not going to turn yourself in, or you are, and a public defendant is going to pull the retard card, and you may not even get sent anywhere.
Oh, great.
I don't know how to help you. I wish I did. I wish I had magic fingers and I could fucking change you. But there's no changing you. After I watched you, I realized you like being bad.
I have a quick question. When did you realize that this was wrong? Because from what I understand, you sat on this for a few weeks, Mary Jane.
No. When he first told me, we had a long conversation, and then he finally got to what was really eating him up inside.
It was only after your pride became affected that you decided to spill the beans here. And I think Tony,
Let me talk, Marty. I'll tell you.
Okay.
All that I knew was that he had pictures that were bad. And he had told me that he didn't take pictures of girls at the mall. Okay.
I did take a picture of a girl at the mall.
He told me he did take a picture of a girl at the mall, but he didn't know how old she was. And he still would not reveal to me the content of the images. For all I knew, it was girls at like Enchanted Forest, fucking playing basketball in fucking sports bras. I don't know. He wouldn't tell me. The third call, he caught a fucking attitude. Red flags. And I kept a close eye on him. I didn't go watch your streams or whatever, but when he'd come around, I'd watch him. And I just knew that I had to call him out live because he would probably lie about it, which he tried to do on the Big Will show. He tried to play dumb, like what computer?
But you know, assuming that Tony was nice to you and didn't call you a bitch, you probably would have sat on that information. Because it was only after he called you a bitch that you decided to.
Yeah, but if you go onto Big Will's channel on the 9th, 3 days ago, I said, Tony, why don't you come on here and tell the Bender boys about your other computer? So that's basically all that I knew. It's the only proof I had.
It was my
I know
phone.
that he was watching because he fucking watches everything.
What?
And he didn't come on.
What is it?
And then last night, you can believe it or not, I was going to go on the Big Will stream. I had gotten back from going out shopping. When I went out, my hair was wet under a hat. I was getting ready to go live, and Tony went live, and I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, but I think you said that you knew for months.
And then he calls me a bitch. Has anyone ever seen him be rude to me before? No. And I believe he did that because he knew that I had called him out. And I knew it was time.
You never called him. You called him out after you called him.
While he was there, and I did.
Like, here's the sequence of events. He tells you about the story. You sit on it for months. Then moments after he calls you a bitch, you come on like a crazed hyena. And listen, I think you did the right thing by outing Tony here. But, you know, your reasoning is kind of suspect.
No, because I wasn't 100% sure. After the first call, I was about 95% sure that he was a mentally retarded person that was being groomed by an actual pedophile. And I didn't have any contact with him except for being like, hey, what's up? In the community that I thought had shown him as a pedophile as a joke. And yeah, I took pity on him. The second call was like a month or whatever later. And when I asked him, yo, about that computer, did you get rid of that yet? Because he was playing himself as a victim.
But I mean, you
didn't want to talk about it.
You should stop masquerading as
50% sure that he knew what the fuck he was doing. And before I destroy his whole fucking world, because it seems like he doesn't have one outside of YouTube, I wanted to be absolutely sure before I fucking kick a retard in the face what I'm talking about.
I mean, yeah, you know, Tony is like a sick man. I don't think he's a retard per se, you know.
No, he definitely is. He's not all there.
I mean, I don't think the IQ gap between Tony and Big Will is that vast.
No, that's not right.
I'm just saying. But yeah, it seems
And
odd, peculiar to
Blake
me.
put himself on the line and said, I think on, Bombshell went to his stream or whatever, and he said, like a few days ago, before Mary even called him out on the 9th, she hit me up and was like, this is what I know about Tony. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I want to tell everyone.
Yeah,
I didn't just, oh my God, he called me a bitch, I'm going to tell everyone.
Yeah, let me ask you something. Let me ask you a question here. At what point after you said Mary Jane's a bitch, did you then realize that what he was describing, his pictures were?
No. I already knew like 4 or 5 days before that. I knew after I talked to him and Randy, I have to expose him, but I needed to do it in a way that he would admit live, because there was a chance that he would just say that I was making it up. I didn't have any proof, Marty.
So what discovery did you make since he said that?
Telling it to everyone.
It just seems really odd to me, because after he said you're a bitch, you then realized that, oh my God,
That's not what I said. I realized when he was doing or allowing Randy to do what he was doing, that he was
what was Randy doing
of right and wrong. Because when I told him, I think that Randy is touching himself, that's wrong, tell him to stop.
Yeah, okay, I agree.
He's still laughing about it.
I agree.
And I knew that I had to expose him, but I didn't know how to do it. And I thought about it. And then I finally fucking hit up somebody in the community who I knew would believe me.
Yeah. You just keep talking over me.
It was like 4 days before he called me a bitch.
The chat's noticing that you can't be quiet for a moment.
How many times did I tell you, Mary Jane, Randy wasn't jerking off? He wasn't.
I mean, Tony, if you
the fact that you would let your friend touch himself and then ask me to
for a brief second, Mary Jane.
No, because the whole reason why you were even talking to me was because you needed somebody to be your friend.
Okay, Mary Jane, let me ask you another question. Since you just like talking over me.
For disgusting shit. And you thought that I was disgusting shit because I show my boobs to adults occasionally.
Mary Jane, you realize that you're just talking over me and filibustering.
I'm talking to Tony right now.
Okay. All right, it seems like you're finished here. At what point after Tony called you a bitch did you then suddenly realize that the pictures he had were of children? You were talking to people in the forest. I don't even know what that means earlier.
No, I speculated since the first time that he contacted me in the late summer that what he was telling me was not 100% the truth. But he wouldn't tell me. Wow. I can't just put words in people's mouths. And I waited for him to come back, and I asked him more. He wouldn't tell me. I did the questions like Kiki was doing today, and he wouldn't answer them for me.
I mean, I have a feeling that if he didn't call you a bitch, that you would have continued to sit on this information.
That's not true, and Blake has a chat to prove that.
You mean to tell me that it's a total coincidence that the moment after he calls you a bitch is when you have your big discovery?
No, I never said that it was my big discovery. I said that like 4 days prior to him calling me a bitch, I hit up someone in the community that I would know would believe what I was saying is true. He was like, we need to go public with this. Do you have a problem with it? And I was like, no, I want it to be done.
Okay.
Then I called him out on the 9th, and he didn't come on. And then on the 11th, he gets on the same platform, Big Will's show, and I'm in the chat.
Let me ask you another question.
Tony to instigate shit because I knew I was coming live, and he called me a bitch, and I said, "I got."
Let me ask.
Why don't you tell everyone what you told me? And he did. Plus more. No, and you're trying to twist it like I knew more than I knew, and he's already told everyone what I knew.
John, please, Tony, can you like mute her for a second so we can have a conversation here? No, then okay, fine. Then you can just keep going, Mary Jane. That's fine. Let me know when you're finished.
He's not going to mute me.
Just let me know when you're finished.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about an unrelated matter. There's another man in this community who showed a child pornography of his own mother, do you think that that person should turn himself in as well?
Listen, I don't like that he did that. I didn't even know if that was true or not when I heard about it.
He's admitted
Today,
to it.
Prison Mike asked me about it. I was like, is that actually even true? Did it even ever happen? He said yes, and he told me what happened. It's wrong. I'm not fucking friends with Violent George.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, I also hear you talking about Tony's mental health. Do you or do you not believe that maximum overload is a Jesus Christ type figure?
No, I never said that.
It's not what I remember, but I guess I'm deviating a little bit here. I just find it impossible to believe that your
If
big
you guys
aha
want
moment
on the
comes after he
panel,
calls you
there's a
bitch.
link. If
Your
you
big
want
aha
on.
moment- Your big
Start that
aha
sentence.
moment comes instantaneously after he calls you a bitch. That seems rather coincidental.
I called him out on the 9th. Watch the tape. That's why he called me a bitch. And he's just being a fucking coward and not admitting it.
Okay, where is this?
I
on the
was
Big Wolf
giving you a
Trail.
hard time. I was like, oh, I see Mary Jane's on the panel. And I said, why does it, I said, pull up, bitch. I didn't say it in a rude manner.
When else have you
And then
ever
you
been rude
came,
to
and
me,
then Big
Tony?
Will's like, oh, damn,
Other than
Tony's.
asking me to show my
And then
body parts.
Big Will
You've never
says,
done
oh,
that
damn,
shit.
Tony's calling out Mary Jane. And then you come on panel, and then you just start blowing things out of
I
proportion.
asked
Like,
you to tell everyone what you
Hey,
told
Tony,
me.
I
I
don't think
knew
Tony
they
thinks
would
out of
ask you
proportion.
questions and you would answer them for them because you wouldn't answer them for me.
yeah, because you were attacking me like I was some kind of sick pervert. And
You
I
are a
told
sick
you,
pervert.
I told you, Mary
You revealed
Jane.
yourself today on Kiki's stream.
I told
as
you.
everything that I was hoping that you wouldn't be.
I told you, Mary Jane. I don't have the hard drive in my possession.
You said a lot of things on Big Will's show. You said
Yeah, I did.
you didn't know where it
I
was.
did, and you guys
broken
were
and
attacking me. And
so
Blake
you
said that I wasn't welcome in the Juggalo community.
You
How
never
is
told me
Blake?
that.
Blake doesn't know. But does Blake realize that the Juggalo community is much, much, much bigger than the Bender Boys, than
Sure.
the JJL?
What happened
Yeah,
when
he
the
does.
police
You
came yesterday?
know how
Yeah,
much you want to
definitely
bet there's
fucking
people
wrong
out
with
in this
Tony,
town
tell me what happened
that
with
are
the police
watching
came.
this right now, and they're saying this is
Okay.
fucked up.
That's
I wanna
You
know,
know?
are you going to
Tony, what
do what you
happened with the
said
police?
on Kiki's stream and call the authorities and turn yourself in?
Tony, did the police come to your home yesterday?
Yes, they did, Marty.
What happened?
I wouldn't let them in because I
Well-
wasn't in the mood, because I knew that if I would let them in, that shit would get worse and that I would be going to jail. And that's one reason why I didn't let them in. Because
Tony,
apparently,
going to jail.
apparently, Bud,
Tony, I mean, I'm disgusted by you for this, but I am proud of you for that one small thing.
yeah, well, still, I'm,
Yeah, I don't know what to say, Tony. I was really disappointed in you.
well, and Marty, yeah, but
You need
you
mental
gotta
health.
understand, but Marty, you gotta understand, at least I'm seeking some kind of help. It
Well-
may not be a psychiatrist, it may not be some therapeutic.
If you had told
I'm
me
getting
what you
help.
said, Kiki, I would have done more. But there was nothing to go on. Saying somebody with the name Tony in the state Montana has some sort of pictures of underage girls is nothing to a police officer.
But listen, Mary Jane, those
I guess.
pictures are old, Mary Jane.
Better, Tony.
These
Tony,
pictures ain't
How
like
did I know
from
what
4
man.
years ago. These were like 7 to 10 years
Tony,
ago,
but
Mary
you're
Jane.
You're downloading pictures of girls on the internet, and then it escalated into you going to the mall and taking pictures of them. It's like it's escalating, Tony. You know,
No, what I want to know is, did you or did you not say on Big Will stream yesterday that you and Randy, the day that his wheelchair broke down, that you were on the way to go look at girls at the mall?
No.
Pretty
We
sure
were on our way to the Verizon store to pay for Randy's phone.
Hmm.
Randy's here too, by the way. Right, yeah. See?
No, rumor, no.
We were on our way to pay for my phone.
There you go, Mary Jane.
Let's ask Randy.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Has Tony ever showed you disgusting shit on a computer screen?
No.
Hmm.
No.
Randy's seen pictures, but they weren't like teenagers.
No.
They were like models in like leather outfits and shit like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't want you over. I didn't want you over last night because I was afraid they were going to attack you too.
Right from wrong because of his mental state. And after time
That's why I
passed,
told you to go home.
Yeah.
Is because I knew that
because it was
that-
work.
that
was the
they were going to attack you
I had no
because
proof of that, and I needed him
You know.
to tell publicly, which he did, and I'm glad that he fucking did that. I didn't fucking protect him. I didn't assist him in any way. I was waiting for him to tell me something that it was actual dirt.
they get
you know-
the fuck out, Nintendo.
But at the same time,
If you're sick of me,
confident.
then
and
get the fuck out
firm
of
in your
here,
conviction. I think you were firm in your conviction.
Nintendo.
And you knew what you had on Tony. I mean, you can just admit it that you sat on it and were kind of iffy. I mean, that's fine. I mean, you still did the right thing in the end, but you did kind of sit on it for a little while. You know, at the end of the day, you did the right thing, but I just admit it for
Randy doesn't know
Oh.
about the hard drive because I haven't told him about it because it's not in my possession.
No.
And if it was in my possession, I would tell Randy. But it's not.
So, Tony, you said that on your old hard drive at Grandma's house, it has the images on it, right?
Yes, Marty.
So basically, if the police wanted to go and find child pornography, it would be as simple as going to your grandma's house and looking on the hard drive.
Yeah. He finally admitted to what was on it.
I mean, Tony,
Not just
like,
girls in shorts and their butts, like what he told me on the second tape, which everybody gave him a pass for. It was actual disgusting shit. And he also said today that he's been doing it since high school, which he also did not reveal to me ever. He kept lying.
Yeah, and you realize that I quit doing that years ago, Mary Jane?
That's what
years
you said.
ago.
And on the
quit.
second and third call, you're just
I'm
like,
no
I don't want to talk
longer-
about this.
I'm no longer
I haven't
looking
been
at
there,
those
and
websites anymore, Mary Jane. Because somebody told me that if I kept going the route I was going, I would end up prison.
Who told you
And
that?
I'm not in prison. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Because before I left, I did see a psychiatrist before I left. Mary Jane.
Before you left, where? What are you talking about?
Casper.
I don't know what that means.
Before I left.
Before you left your
Casper,
grandma's house?
Wyoming. What?
Before you left your grandma's house, you talked to somebody?
No.
Can I ask you
When we
your nursing home
moved
staff thought about the police
to
coming back?
Billings, Montana. Before we moved, I saw a psychiatrist. Before we moved.
Tony, what did your nursing staff and fellow residents think about last night?
I don't know because I wasn't in the mood.
Well, have
I
you left
told
the
Bud.
day?
I told Bud that it was none of his business and to stay out of it.
Have you
And then
left
an
the
hour
room?
later, the police department was knocking on my door and
Marty,
I didn't want
the way this works
him
is he's
in.
never going to get in trouble unless he admits to an actual investigator who actually sees the images and confirms that it's child pornography, and then Tony admits it and signs a statement.
Well, I'll agree. I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. Let's just admit that. Let's just admit that what brought this on was him calling you a bitch. I mean, because it was.
I don't give a fuck if Tony tells me I'm a bitch. I already know that I'm a bitch.
But come on, though. Like, this happened immediately after he did that.
No, on the 9th, I called him out before he was ever even rude to me. Before he ever called me a bitch or called me a name, I called him out on the 9th. Come on here and tell everybody else. Because it was time. And I needed to know that he would admit it live. And I felt like he would if I called him out. So I did it. And I knew that it was my burden to bear, that he came to me for whatever reason. He said today he didn't tell anybody else. And he wouldn't tell me the full details. And I was trying to get them because I wanted to know if he was a victim or not. And today we all found out he's not a victim. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I know it's wrong, Mary Jane. That's why I stopped looking at it years ago.
Tony.
Years.
No, you came to me because you wanted me to think that you were a victim, and you like that I look young. You like that I look like a 20-year-old or whatever. And you thought that I was a fucking total whore and that I was going to be an adult that you could play with that looked young. And it pisses me off.
Tony, like, I was really bummed out in you, man. You know, this is terrible.
Yeah, I know, Marty.
Like, you realize that in the first place, those women or those young girls were exploited and that they were posed, and it's traumatic, and, you know, they grow up and feel dirty about it.
Yeah, why do you think I'm not looking at those anymore, Marty?
When you're going to the mall and taking pictures, it almost makes you wonder if you were going to save those pictures.
Marty, once. Yeah. That was one time, Marty. That was it. I haven't taken any pictures ever since, Marty.
But it's an escalation, Tony.
Tony, are you going to call your local PD and tell them?
Eventually, I plan on going to Best Buy. And if Best Buy looks... Hold on.
Okay.
Let me finish. Best Buy has a policy that they have stated.
Is what you're saying.
What?
You want to get caught, don't you?
No, I don't want to get caught. I'm saying if they find any children pornography, they are authorized to notify the authorities. And if they... And hold on, I'm not done yet. And if they do call the authorities, I will tell them that these pictures were years ago and that these pictures were not recently.
Have you ever heard the saying, possession is 9/10 of the law? Possession. As soon as you give that to the Best Buy guy and you sign your name, you're admitting that you're the owner of the content and that it was in your possession. And in all 51 states, possession of child pornography, which you admitted today, it clearly was. It wasn't just girls in clothes out in public that were underage. You are a criminal. Two things are going to happen. Either the person that sees that as a creep and they let it slide, or they contact the authorities. They come to your house and they take statements. Why don't you just call the investigators yourself? You said that you would today on Kiki's stream. Just like you told me that you hadn't looked at it in 10 years, that you were really sorry that this guy basically tricked you into looking at it, that you were going to break it, you were going to get rid of it. And then I find out on Blake's, from watching Blake's stream from last night, no. When Grandma and Auntie were like, you don't need this anymore, we're going to put it in the trash, you had to have it.
Why would you protect Tony for this long, though?
I wasn't protecting him. I didn't have enough proof to do anything about it.
When you confronted him initially, you seemed very confident and that you had him by the balls.
That's only because the way that he acted on the last 3 calls, that he wouldn't tell me what it was, is basically proof that it's really bad. It's not just pictures of girls at the mall.
No, these are pictures that I Googled on YouTube.
It doesn't matter where you got them. It doesn't matter if you found them in a fucking trash can, at a fucking thrift shop, at a garage sale.
Joel,
It's
what is it, Joel?
normal people would see that and be like, this is bad. Based off of what you
Joel.
said it was, they would
Hold on.
report it.
The beast always wins. How are you, sir?
Hold on.
All right. All right, beast. Hold on, guys. The beast needs a moment.
Tony, call them right now and tell them. Call your aide right now and tell them. Call somebody. Call your grandma.
Tony, you need help, bro.
Oh, she knows Mary Jane because she saw the pictures once.
Tony,
She
you need
told
help,
me.
bro.
He never
Yeah.
revealed that to me. I found that out today when everybody else did.
I said, Tony, you need to get help, bro. All together, just get help.
Yeah, I know, Joel. I know that. Everybody's telling me this,
They're
but
gonna keep him away from
okay.
people
All right, Joel.
until he expires.
All right.
That's the help
Okay.
he's gonna get. And it's not gonna
All
be
right.
jail because of the condition he's in, physically and mentally.
I know. He needs counseling, some shit like that.
Yeah, I'd agree.
He might need to smoke some good old reefer and have a talk with me.
Yeah, the beast always wins.
Knowing what he said today, do you really think that anyone can help him?
Joel's okay, Mary Jane. Joel's known me longer than you've known me, Mary Jane.
I barely know you at all. And
Well,
everybody's
Joel
making
knows
it
me.
like I've known
Joel
all
knows
these
me
details when I
really
talk to
well.
something which isn't true.
Right, Joel? Right, Joel?
I know you for a couple years, but I didn't know nothing about this and now to tonight.
Well, that's because I don't like revealing, because the last time I opened my goddamn mouth, it got me in trouble, Mary Jane. And I was on pills that made me sleepy. And I don't want to go back to that again.
Tony, hear me out, Tony. I want to tell you what you did to yourself real quick. You put your business out here on YouTube. I'm just saying, to be real with you. Now, there's so many people that hate you that I've seen in the chat, just sitting in the chat, looking at all the messages. Somebody could report your ass. You know that, right? Somebody's probably going to report you. I already seen that. I already see that coming. You might as well go ahead and get help. You want a damn ball come in your house. I know that shit. Or the FBI. You need to go get like a counselor or something, bro.
Yeah, well. Yeah.
What's up, bro, Nick?
Beast, how are you, sir?
So what's up with the picture?
What picture?
I see your picture on StreamYard.
Oh, Cyrex?
Yeah.
Do you want me to change it?
No, I mean, I was just asking, how did you get that one?
Well, I think I took it off of Facebook. Don't worry, Joel.
I promised Tony
I'll change it.
tell what he told me. Nowhere did I have any inclination that he was going to tell me what he did. As far as I knew, that whole tape of him saying I'm a pedo was some fabricated.
Yeah, it was a fabricated, Mary Jane, because I never once said anything like that.
Before he started talking to me, because I wouldn't talk to him when I found out about it.
Damn, Tony, you got yourself in some shit now, bro.
Yeah, tell me about it.
How the hell did you do this?
I don't know. I was giving Mary Jane a hard time by calling her a fucking bitch. And then she comes on Big Will's panel and blows his whole thing out of proportion like I'm some kind of sick pedophile. And
But
I've
look what
told
happened after
people
I called him out.
several times,
Nick, change that shit
I'm
now.
not a pedophile.
But in private, he wouldn't tell me. But for whatever reason, on a public platform, he'll tell everybody everything. That's what I
So
realized.
what?
The second
So why
and third
did you call? Why did you call her a bitch for, Tony? What was the
And when
reason?
I
of
was
it?
just giving her a hard time.
online, he just never
Joel.
got that fucking weird when I was around.
All right, fucking Nick, quit playing around now.
All right, one more. Just one more.
No, no more.
Just last one.
Tony told me 4 months ago that he felt guilty about a computer he owned because there was underage girls on it, but he wouldn't tell me what they were doing or what they
All right, now
looked like.
change my picture. Take my picture off.
All right.
Here. There we go.
Yeah,
But seriously though,
Nintendo, I
Tony.
agree it's not
It's not
cool.
enough to do
But you have
anything
to
with.
understand something, Nintendo. This was years ago. Okay? Years ago. Before I even met Mary Jane, before I even met Boy Blue and Lord Zero. You know?
So now you got all the bitter boys out there, you right?
Well, here's the thing, Joel.
They're not
Mary
after
Jane
him,
knew
they're
about this
just
for
done with
months. Mary Jane knew about this for months, and she also condones a man named Violent George sending pictures.
Where do I condone that, Marty? Where do I say that that's okay?
That is 100% what happened.
Today, Prison Mike talked to me about that, and I was like, did that actually even happen? He said, yes. We discussed it, and I said, if that actually happened, that's wrong.
Okay.